All right, and there will no. I'm going to whoever is the first person in here, you've got to comment. Whoever the first person is in here, you've got to comment. We tried to go live earlier, it did not work. We tried to go live earlier, it did not work, but we are live again. And there will okay, share, copy. Whoever the first person in here, you've got to comment. Aha, Phoenix, and there was I was like, what the hell's going on? And there was, hey, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back, guys. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. It wasn't letting me see my comments, but we got that fixed. Let me change the link on Patreon to the correct one. All right. Next. So, okay. All right, better. Okay. Ndewono. All right. I can hear you. I can hear you. Good evening, Ndewo, Professor. Ndewo, guys. Hey, thank you. It's not letting some comments. That's weird. I got the invite twice, so I figured I needed to hear. Well, the first one, okay, so there are no coincidences in this universe. There are no just communication. There are no coincidences, just communication. So if you got this twice, there's a reason you got it twice. We couldn't comment. Yeah, I figured as much, and they won. Okay, we are back, and they will. Okay, so once. Oh, we're already at 10. All right, you say. Okay, hey guys, is your mom home? No. Oh, okay, all right. So hold on, I'm opening Capri Suns, y'all. Do you need help? You got yours?
No, I don't think I really got it.
I got it. It's okay. And there one, y'all. So once we open these Capri Suns, we'll go ahead and get started, okay? Okay, if you guys are gonna be here, you have to be super quiet and off the camera, okay?
Wait, we can be here?
If I guess until your mom comes. Hold on.
Mommy
I heard the garage. Was that you?
No. No. Yeah. I think that was when we were coming.
Bachuzo. Namdi. Bachuzo. Okay, your mom's back. Go. Hey, Namdi, Bachuzo.
Door. Okay. Door.
Thank you. All right, and then one who let us begin. I kind of want a Capri Sun. Yeah, it's the best drink ever made. So Kaibido. All right, so like I'm an adult with one in it. They will finally start working. So missed the last live, did 7/12s. Finally started working. So missed okay, well, and they will know on the new job, I think. It sounds like you got a new job, so congratulations on that. So let me go ahead and begin. Okay. Okike kere ụwa, ala ala nne mmadụ na nne mmụọ, ala na-enye ndụ. Oh, flag for kids, that's weird. Ala na-enye nke ọma dị n'ụwa. Ụmụ gị abịala. Owu obiọma ka anyị ji na-ekele ndị ọkpụ na ndị ichie, ndị mbụ na ndị egede. Ajikwere obiọma na-ekele ndanimo, ndị mmadụ na ndị mmụọ. Ajikwere obiọma na-ekele nke dị mma n'ụwa, nke na-enye ụba, nke na-enye uche, nke na-enye akọ, nke na-enye ndụ. Owu obiọma ka anyị ji na-ekele gị. Otu unu ụfụrụ m bụ otu m dị. Aka m dị ọcha, obi m dị ọcha, ụkwụ m dị ọcha, mana ana m aga ije Chineke kere ka m gaa n'ụwa. Otu a ka m ga-aga, otu a ka anyị ga-aga, mana anyị bụ otu mmadụ, otu mmụọ, otu aka, otu obi, otu uche, otu Chukwu nke kere ụwa ka anyị ji obiọma na-ekele. Otu a ka ọ ga-adị n'Eke, n'Orie, n'Afọ, na Nkwọ. Ise. All right. Ndewonu. Nyukwu mere. Congratulations on the new job. That's dope, man. That's dope. Congratulations. I figure it's a good one. I see your tie. I see your suit. So I know you don't take ọrụ ndị nkịtị. So congratulations. Continue moving. Ndewo family. Ndewo ezinụlọ. Metasol. Ndewo. All right, guys. So as it always is, I am here for as long as you guys have questions. Once the questions run out, we go. I do have a story I want to share, though. I'm thinking I'm going to share it on the next video. But honestly, I'm not seeing space for a story in the next video, so we'll see. We'll see. Well, I tell a person. Actually, no. In the next video, I tell a personal story, and it's the story of the first time a ritual was done to me. Right? And it's the story I'm going to share in the video. It happened when I was 6. First time a ritual was done to me.
There's pizza.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Thank you, Nandi. All right.
Hut.
Okay. Cool. I'll come get it. Yes, but you're correct. I saw the rerun of the last one. Oh, yes, yes, no, I can always count on the village to ask good questions. All right, you guys, let's go ahead. Medicine class starts tomorrow. Yes, so those of you who are signed up for the traditional medicine class, we are starting tomorrow. It's going to go seamlessly, but these things always give me anxiety because I'm putting my heart into it, you know. So I've been very not at ease today. I've been very not at ease today just because a big day is happening tomorrow. So yes, the traditional medicine class is starting tomorrow. If you guys are interested in taking the traditional medicine class, you can still sign up for the next session. Or just message me. Maybe we can put you on like a wait, see if somebody leaves. But either way, if you're interested in signing up, we can still sign up for the next session. There's 12 seats available for the next session. Do. I have many questions today. Like, I like to listen in. And there, well, I'm ready for your questions. You guys are really, you guys are not coming with the questions. It might be a short ass live. But yes, you are correct. I saw the, okay, I already read that. Are there any suggestions to reach out to specific ancestor I haven't met before? Oh, that's a wonderful question. Yes. So in Igbo spirituality, Dinani in Igbo, Dinani, the way you communicate with your ancestors is by greeting them, right? You greet them. And in greeting them, you keep a regular communication with them, or you keep the pathway to them open. You strengthen it. You give it life every single time you greet them. Greeting them is as simple as saying their name and saying I greet you, right? Because my ancestors speak Igbo, I use Igbo. So I'll use Emenaha, for example. Emenaha, Anamekelengi, right? As simple as that. Anamekelengi, I greet you. Once you've greeted all your ancestors, if you have a specific address for a specific ancestor, you can then address them again by name and then give your address. Now, let's say you don't know the name of the ancestor, but that you want to speak to. Every single person born into Uwa, the universe, goes by 4 names. Eke, Urie, Afo, Nkwo. Eke, Urie, Afo, Nkwo. Light and darkness, water, earth, wind, air, right? Eke, Urie, Afo, Nkwo. East, west, north, south. Okay, just every single thing is built of Eke Uri Afonko. And you can use that, meaning all of our ancestors have one of these names. So if you call upon, when you're greeting your ancestors, if you also greet Eke, greet Uri, greet Afo, and greet Nkwo, you have greeted your ancestors whose names you don't know, but of course you're saying one of their names because one of their names is that. Now, how do you know which one of those is your name? It is the day you are born. It is based on the day you are born. If you are born on Eke Day, you are Eke. If you are Nweke, if you're born on Uriye, you are Nguriye. If you're Nwafo, you are Nwafo. If you're Nwangwo, you are Nwangwo. So those are names you can use to address ancestors whose names you don't know. You can also just say mother of mine, father of mine, that kind of thing. Like if you think about it, what you're really doing is having a communication with your ancestors. And assuming you are a Black person, I don't know a single Black culture where you just call your mother by their first name or your father by their first name. So using mother, using father is fine. So I hope that helped you. Siberia, Ndewonu, thank you so much for the donation. Wise Mazi Derek, I will it to you. I will it to you. One day I will it to you. All right, Ija, I will it. Question: healing without medicine. What are the wise ones? Thank you. Okay, healing without medicine. Depends what you're trying to heal from. It depends what you are trying to heal from. Now, Odinani Ndibo is very pro-medicine. It is not anti-medicine. It is pro-medicine. So if the medicine is available, there is no need to heal without medicine. Now, some medicine is not medicine, right? some medicine is not medicine. So I kind of understand why you're asking that question. You can try to look for an ancestral way of doing it. But healing without medicine, our people say, so long as my ikenga is alive, so long as my ikenga is awake, is the best way to say it, I can wrestle in the world of spirits, right? But I would highly advise using medicine if it is available. Though I completely understand that not all things called medicine are medicine. I totally understand. I would just do what works, and speak to your people, speak to your ancestors, and see what they have to say as far as that goes, right? Now, if there's a traditional medicine you're looking for, that might be a route. But as for anything concerning Udinani, is very pro medicine. Medicine is a gift from Arubinago, right? From the mind of Allah herself. So, yeah. Where are we at? York, okay, rerun. Was about to go to bed. I guess we're having a late start tomorrow. Minio Sue, thank you for being here. I appreciate the sacrifice, right? I appreciate the sacrifice. In Odinani, okay. In Odinani, if a person is having visions, how do they go about strengthening that spiritual skill? Oh, that's an amazing question. So the next video I'm making, I'm not going to say what it's about, but in it I talk about people's range, the range of spiritual skills that you have, right? The range of spiritual skills you have, every single person has a range of spiritual skills. In general, there are about 360 to 365 spiritual gifts that a person can be born with. This is from After God is DBS. So if you ask me to list them, I wouldn't know because it's not listed there. But the 360 to 365 gifts, and each of us will have like one or two, three, four, five, 10, 0, that kind of thing, depending on who we are. So one of them is visions. Visions. Your gifts, those types of gifts, spiritual gifts come from your chi. The way you strengthen what comes from your chi is you perform what is called Iga Chi. Iga Chi is retrieving the chi, becoming closer to the chi, becoming one with the chi. Some forms of Iga Chi you may want to consider are umendo, meditative breathing. So very similar to Eastern meditation. Um, Another means of strengthening your chi or your connection to your chi is through physical activity, right? Dancing, through walking, whatever it is that helps you connect to you. You know, those things you do throughout the week or throughout the day or maybe throughout the month or year that connect you back to who you are, make you feel like who you are. That is Igachi, right? Another method that one can use is fasting. Fasting is a form of Igachi. Another method is isolation. Isolation is a form of Igachi. Combining any set of these, an isolative walk with meditative breathing, prolonged isolation, that kind of thing. Another way that what comes from your chi is activated is by need, So you can very simply ask your chi, or go to your altar, ask your chi, show me this. I need this, that, and if there's a real need, if you have the need for it, it will activate. It will come about, right? As you go about doing this, because it is your gift specifically, of all the things I listed, and then possibly more that you may even discover that I don't know or I didn't list. Once you activate, or once you get into the rhythm of being deliberate about your gift, you will figure out exactly what formula makes the gift happen. Another thing to consider is that all gifts come with awful. Awful. Awful is a divine mandate or a divine authority over a certain area of your life or existence or something, right? So if your chi gave you the awful to do something, so long as you are honoring that awful, that gift will open up for you, right? So some people have gifts, but based on their lifestyle, that gift cannot activate because that their lifestyle goes against their awful, right? So it's very hard for an individual to know exactly what their all-fault is. So to be safe, what we do is we generally live a clean life. You don't hurt anybody. You don't take what doesn't belong to you. You don't put your hands into what will harm another person. You do not disrupt balance. You do not disrupt peace where it's found home. You do not foster enemies. You don't foster division among people. Those types of things. A good reference I use is the 42, I'm going to say the wrong number, 42 Laws of Ma'at. Just take a read of that. That is a person performing what's called igolfo, which is going to your awful and saying, I have not done this, I have not done that, just showing, hey, I'm still in good standing, right? So living a clean life, your chi does not place itself where it will be desecrated. So all these things combined can be called igachi, right? The strengthening the connection to the chi, becoming closer to the chi, and so forth. Routine. You find a routine too. Ritual, right? Find a ritual that works for you. I have a video called Ritual Explained. I kind of gave the building blocks for ritual. We also learn about ritual in the traditional medicine class. I would consider if it's something you're interested in, like for the winter, I would look into the traditional medicine class because we talk about like individual gifts and then how to activate them and harness them. And it's taught by a DBA, so he might have insights that I don't have. And they will know. All right. Okay, let me go to the beginning because I feel like I missed some questions. Okay. No problem. All right. Are there any suggestions reaching out, Gary? I answered that. I don't have many questions today. Okay, cool. I read that wrong the first time. I'm going to bed. Okay. Do you discuss cleansing types and frequency? Is there a daily number action day? Cleansings. There's several ways to go about it. One of the ones I know is taking like alligator pepper and then touching different parts of your body, just like almost like you're like not like you're scrubbing, but like imagine like you're using a sponge and you're just going through different parts of your body and throwing over the back. You break the alligator pepper over your back as well when you're doing that. But I feel like in order for me to explain that, I'd have to have the alligator pepper here. So we're gonna save that for another live. There are several ways to do cleansing as far as Odinani goes. There's going to the river, giving the river something, bathing in the river after giving something. There's a lot of ways to do cleansing as far as Odinani goes. Um, yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot. So I could even do an entire video on cleansings, right? In fact, in my next video, I'll try to say if you want a video on cleansing, let me know, and then from there you can recommend it in the comments. So there's a lot I can say there, right? There's a lot I can say. Was there a time when Igbo people ruled like the Moors ruled Spain? Like, I don't know what you mean by ruled, right? I don't know what you mean by ruled. So, eh, since the beginning of time, people have ruled, but everybody has their domain. They ruled their domain. And yeah, I don't not like ruled Spain, but who cares about I don't care about Spain. Do you? You know? Oh, Miniosu, how do I cleanse a room? How do I cleanse a room to build my ubichi? Oh, that is such a good question. So one of the things to consider, I can't say the word correctly. They they have these traditional sticks of like incense. I always say the other one. They have these traditional sticks of incense. You light it, you go about the room. That's one way of doing it. Um, there's a lot of those too. The same thing as the cleansing, but one is is using the incense and cleansing it that way. Another one is trying to think of another one that can be like nothing's really coming to mind. It's just that the burning incense is one. Um, Burn incense and clean the room, like actually physically clean the room till it's spotless. Um, I can't think of anything else. I can't think of anything else. Just know this when let's say you're cleaning, I would opt to sweep instead of vacuum. Uh, and when you sweep, don't sweep towards where the altar will be placed. Sweep away from the altar. Um, After that, you should be all right. You should be all right. Do Dibias date back with the Egyptians? Dibias date further back than the Egyptians. Igbo culture is older than what we know about Kemetic culture. This is an archaeological fact. So Dibias are older than what we're calling the Egyptians. Right? They're older than Egyptians. Dibias are older than Egyptians. Wow, thank you. Beautiful part, case. Okay, cool. I can use. The music questions. Maybe I lost the context for that. Ndewo Angelica Pickles. Hi from Russia. Biba and Boba. Hi from Russia. Ndewonu 50 Cent question. I have an uncle that looks like 50 Cent. I have an uncle that looks exactly like 50 Cent. He's huge too. He's huge. Uh, are visions and dreams similar? Yes, they are. If you've been having the same dream since childhood and opening up more and more as you age, is there an interpretation to be sure? So every dream is going to have its own interpretation. I personally would argue that an individual can, you as a person will know what your dream means if you're willing to just sit down and think about it and be honest about it. But dream reading is not something I specialize in or I can do. So our DBA, we have a DBA on Patreon who reads dreams. So if you're interested in having him do that for you, then he is available. But just spend time with the dream. If you're having it over and over, you're having it over and over for a reason. I mean, maybe it's personal, but if you want to describe the nature of the dream, I can tell you what I think is going on based off of what I know, but I never try to say that I'm like a dream reader or anything like that. I can just give you my insight and then you can let me know if it resonates with you. If it resonates, then that's what it is. If it doesn't, then I'm wrong. I started doing meditative breathing, and once I've taken a decent amount of breath, I start feeling this spinning sensation. Then it stops. My eyes are closed. Have you heard of this during Igachi? It's not something, I don't think it's something that happens to me. So I haven't heard of it, right? But it sounds fine. It sounds like your process is working for you, unless it's not, you know. There will. Scotty says thank you, no problem. Thick and well, the best, the best name in the community. Thick and well says, is there an herb, material resin that is used for incense and Igbo? Yes, but I don't want to make any promises, but I don't know it off the top of my head. There's this I don't remember the name of her channel, so I can't even say it. But I can look into, if you want to, I hate to leave questions open ended. If you want to email me or message me, I'll send you something, but I don't know it off the top of my head. But yes, I do know what's used, or I do know one is used. They have these little sticks of it, things like that, right? I'll do them. Is it late joining the Menace class if we're on Patreon? If you're on Patreon, no, it is not late. I just got my schedule sorted out. Okay, cool, Angelica Pickles. Yeah, if you if you're on Patreon, you're fine. Just reach out and we'll make it happen. I live in Europe and I don't have soil from my hometown. How else can I represent the earth in my altar? Well, earth is earth, so you can use soil from where you're at. Um, and then when you get a chance, go home and go get the soil. I don't have soil from my hometown to my altar, right? I don't have soil in my hometown in my altar. So you'll be fine without it, but earth is earth. If soil is present, if you want to use soil, so long as soil is present, is good. If you have soil present, don't play around with your altar. Don't lie. Don't say things you don't mean. Don't say things you don't intend. Thank you. Devious older than Egyptian. They will chatters. And they will. Are there is and why cults for elements other than me? Oh, good question. Good question. Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Absolutely. Whenever somebody has a calling, the calling is very specific to that person. So there's no real saying what category a person's going to be in. If as a person advances, they become more specific and at the same time more hodgepodge, like if that makes sense, right? But yeah, no, there is absolutely is and Y that specialize in different things. And is and Y can specialize in what a DBA specializes in. A DBA can specialize in what an is and Y specializes in. But it's just in some towns in Igbo land, it's like this job is for this person, like the dibia, this job is for the is and why. So but that's more cultural. But yeah, and the is and why can do anything. It's just whoever has the gift, right? But yeah, the water ones tend to lean heavily on women, heavily more female though. Those who have the gift as far as water goes, it tends to heavily lean female, heavily lean. So yeah, just from what I've seen, I couldn't tell you why. It's just my own physical eyes, what I've seen. I have this phenomenal book. I don't want to knock over my picture. Nice. All right, so I have this really good book. If you guys don't have it, I would recommend it. The Water Goddess in Igbo Cosmology. Obuide of Oguta Lake, right? And so it's got this picture here of Obuide and or Nemiri. General any Nem. This works for all water. And the book is incredible. Look at that there. Right? The book is incredible, super detailed. It goes into that, but a lot of what it talks about are is and why. A lot of women, a lot of women, a lot of women. All right, I'm just gonna do random schools, a lot of women in there. So I'll do my. For context, for those who didn't understand the question, maybe should ask. I'm not seeing any more questions or comments, so maybe you guys are done. I was following up with a specific ancestor tip you gave. Two of them were musicians. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Two of them were musicians, so I can use their music. Perfect. You got it. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah. Use their music. Exactly. You got it. Yep. Also, any specific food, fruits offer my Igbo ancestors. You can never go wrong with kola nut for Igbo ancestors. Those of you who practice Haitian voodoo, the Igbo loa takes kola nut. People are always like, the big idea is that people just leave that one alone because they don't know what it takes, and that it has to eat separate from all the other ones. So that means that the Igbo loa is an nze, Nze, and it will absolutely at all times take kola nut and yam kola nut and yam, and palm wine or gin. This is the first thing they wanted me to see. Beautiful. Can women break cola? Yes, women can break cola, but if there's a man around, the man breaks the cola. But if you're at your personal altar, you break the cola. If you're at a meeting of women, you break the cola. If you are like, okay, also a titled woman can break cola whenever. So if you're a dibia or an is and why, which that kind of thing, then you would be able to break cola for your clients and things like that. But if there's a man around for like the average person, then the man breaks the cola, right? The woman brings the cola, the man breaks the cola. First thing they wanted me to see. Okay. Also, any specific food. Also, if somebody's older than you and they're around, they would break the cola, right? Even if they don't know how to, you have to just give it. But if they touch it and pass it off to you, then you can do it. Okay. Is this the same for libations? No, everybody can pour libations. Every single person can pour libations. So the cola breaking ceremony, that cola breaking, the algae, when you break the cola, it is a simulation of the story I told on the first video I made, which is the story of Odachi Nebere, right? This is the story of Chukwu working in the Obi Chukwu, the four-walled chamber, which, by the way, somebody on Patreon suggested that it might be a pyramid. And I've been thinking about that since it was said, and I think she's right. I think she's right. I think she's actually 100% correct. I think it's a pyramid. And I have my reasons for that maybe I'll elaborate on the next video. But yeah, I think she's right. And so yeah, so Chukwu's working on Obi. Chukwu tells Eke, or Ne Chukwu not to look inside. He goes away. She goes and looks inside anyway. There's an explosion that tears her apart, right? When you're breaking cola, that's what you're simulating is the shattering of Nechuku, right? The shattering of Nechuku. Now, in a lot of versions of the story, Chuku tears Nechuku apart in anger, right? And so, yeah, the Chuku elements of the situation, which is the man, would be the breaker of the cola. the eke element of the situation will be one that brings the koa. Adema. Where are we at? Does Odinani Obenala have any version of Halloween Day? Oh yeah. Witchem. Yeah, so yeah. So in my area, we do a thing called Witchem. Witchem is a masquerade festival, but like it's kids that do. It's not a festival; it's just like a season, but it's kids that do it. So the kids make their own masquerade, and they go house to house and they dance, and then you give them the kids. The kids get money from there. And I'll just tell a story from my own experience with Muay So when I was little, when I was in the village, I used to really look forward to Muay because this was my thing. Me and my cousin at Mecca, we were both reincarnated from the same person. So like our interests were just like the same. Like whatever I was trying to do, he was on it too. So like, and whatever he was trying to do was the same thing I was like. If I see him doing something new, I already knew I was going to be interested before I even tried it. Now I had other cousins, like my cousin Chime. Our tastes were very different, right? So like Akaba knew Emeka, boom, same thing. So Emeka and I would for Mwechem, we formed this Mwechem where it's like a tent. It looks like a tent, but it's like all green raffia, and then like somebody's inside and walking around, that kind of thing. And we'd go house to house and get money. And then I had the genius idea of having one of our little brothers be the baby one, right? And so we had to force his little brother to be the baby witch. And I just remember that. And then like the older kids made this one that made ours look like child's play. Like they made my cousin Ugochukwu, they made this huge, like it was like a real, it was a full blown masquerade, right? Which I didn't think was fair because it was like a full blown real masquerade. But yeah, we have Muay You make your own masquerade, then you go house to house and you get money, and so forth. So you'll see pictures every now and then of these little kid masquerades. That's Muay they're doing it in my area. I saw a picture like 2 years ago, and like it looks all spruced up now. Like the kids are like really good at it, and like it looks all like modern and advanced. We were just using grass and sticks and shit, but like I saw the one person using like cloth and all this fancy stuff. So yeah. No, we definitely have the same thing. Which it's also New Yam season in a lot of communities right now, or just in general, harvest New Yam season. So yeah, it's New Yam season, kind of all tied together. Odemma. Yeah, Wechem, it's called in my place. Odemma. Um, how is it difficult? How is difficult that is part of your path differentiated from difficulty that's coming from not being in alignment with your chi and ordinary? Okay, thick and well. If you can ask that question again, I think, and I do this too. There's like a word missing in there somewhere. How is difficulty that is part of your path? Okay, perfect. Well done. How is difficulty that's a part? I read it wrong. My bad. How is difficulty that's a part of your path differentiated from difficulty that's coming from not being in alignment with your chi? Good question. Good question. Difficulty from your path. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. The difficulty on your path, different from the one not alignment. That is a good question. You got me stumped, You've got me stumped because what I was going to say, and I don't think it's descriptive enough, is it's almost like the difference of stepping on a nail and getting a shot, right? But I don't think that describes it well enough, right? I don't think it describes it well enough. What I will say is that the difficulty that is based off of like the difficulty that comes from your chi, you are fully equipped to face it. You are fully equipped to face it. So if there's a difficulty that's coming down the pipeline from your chi already gives you what it takes to overcome it. Or as the Ilu says, when the chi of a child gives the child a yam, it also gives them a knife to cut it, right? So whatever it is that's coming down your pipeline, if your chi send it, you're good to go. You're gonna win, right? Just go for it. You're gonna win, right? Um, from there, understanding what is your chi, who you are in the context of the world around you, right? Understanding who you are in the context of the world around you, that comes from your chi will be aligned with that which you are, or that who you've always been. And then on the flip side, the other difficulty that's not your chi, I mean, that's you versus it's 50-50. You might win, you might not win, right? On them, right? Does Igbo cosmology connect with surrounding planetary systems like the Sirius constellation? I've always said this, right? And you guys, as far as like stars and things like that go, it's not a strong suit of mine. It's not something I know well. I have heard, but I would have to get it confirmed somewhere because growing up within the culture, it wasn't something that was really emphasized. What I will say and what I usually say is that every single person, for every person who has not been born, who is currently alive, and who has ever been born, there is an aligning star in the sky to them, as well as a grain of sand on the earth, right? That's why we refer to people as Omo Ajana na Omo Papando Eligwe, which are the children of the earth, sands, and heaven's stars. But as far as like planets like Mars, Mercury, all that stuff, it's just not an area I'm strong on. I don't know. It's just not, it wasn't really emphasized. I didn't see it emphasized anywhere. Now you get a lot of people emphasizing it. So like I want to get it confirmed because like, are they just saying this shit now? Because it's they what do they call them? Our light skinned tarot reader gang on Instagram have made it big, or was that really a thing? So I have to get it confirmed before I can go ahead and say. But if you are interested, I would look at the book Leopards of the Magical Dawn. Leopards of the Magical Dawn goes into this, and the author is credible beyond credible. I endorse whatever he's saying because he's one of my teachers, and exceptionally talented at what he does. So he goes into it, but I want to get it confirmed before I start repeating it. I don't mind. Um, when I get readings, people always sense death around me. Whoa. Initially, it was concerning, but upon further research, I've come to find that a few spirits of death around me, especially the LOC. Yeah, it happens sometimes, right? It happens sometimes. Yeah, thinking, well, that was a great question. I agree. Could you expound? Okay, can I expound on getting a reading and death is around you? Yeah, so if you know Fela Kuti, Fela Kuti, I can't say his name, it's not my language. Um, but his adopted name, the name he gave, his title name, the name he gave himself was the he who carries death in his pouch, right? So death being around you does not necessarily mean people are just going to die up and down, right? It doesn't mean that somebody's about to die or you're about to die and that kind of thing. It could mean that. I'm not taking that away. It could mean that. But there are some people that certain spirits or certain forces just walk with, right? They just walk with, right? So there's something about you that is connected to death. And what I would advise is looking into building a healthy and strong relationship with the concept of death, because there's something there. There's something there. Perhaps it has a message for you, uh, just so on and so forth, right? The person who death walks with is also the person who will understand it well. The person who understands it well is the person who can prevent it, right? So, if multiple readings are saying this, then it means something. I would advise, yeah, maybe you were meant to be a mortician. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Creative force. You were quick to the draw. Ego negu ego negu instead of trick or treat sounds. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, you used to go. I wouldn't dance. I always have my brothers, and then like my younger brother, Screwface, was him and my other cousin, the one that ended up being the baby. They would always fight, like always get in the. They were best friends, but always get in the physical fights. So after fighting it out, Uche had to be the baby one, but he was smaller anyways, right? My brother Screw has always been big, so I didn't know. What do you think of multi-dimensional travel system in Dragon Ball Daima? I, I didn't watch. I tapped out in the middle of the Boo saga as far as Dragon Ball Z goes. I tapped out in the middle of the Boo saga, but I want to go back and watch the Boo saga because like it was all over the place, but there's a lot of really important and cool stuff in there. But the multi-dimensional system in Daima is super interesting. I didn't watch Super, so like don't ask me about that. In my head, it's not canon. But the Daima, that is super interesting and it is incredible. Dragon Ball Z is super esoteric. I'm actually referencing it in the next video, right? I'm actually referencing it in the next video because that Shenron is Arobinago. That Shenron is Arobinago. Adama. Where are we at? What do you think about multi? But yeah, no, it's dope. I think it's dope. I think it makes sense. I would like to see where they go with it. I have not watched a single episode of it. I just see people comment. I probably won't watch it anyway, but like I see comments floating around. But I'll do my. Any tips on someone raised in church who no longer believes in literal spirits? So one of the things that like okay, so one of the things that religion does, right? Like when you write down esoteric or spiritual understanding, like people always say that writing down is the best way to preserve. I think that's a total falsehood. I think that once you write it down, it stops evolving with people. Because in the end of the day, people are describing reality. So whatever is written down should look like reality. And if it doesn't look like reality, then leave it alone, right? There's no obligation to believe in what is not supposed to be believed in. If your chi says that's false, it's false, right? Um, like I myself, like I grew up a scout. I was very by nature I'm a skeptic. That's why like there's some things that like I know, but I'm not gonna say yet until like I have confirmation, because I take my word seriously. But like the what was I gonna say? Yeah. So like for example, now I didn't grow up believing in spirits. I didn't think that shit was real, but like now I have a different understanding of it, right? I have a different understanding of it and I get what it is, right? It's a force, it's a vibration, it's an energy, it's an archetype, right? For example, it's an archetype. Like you can have something overcome you that makes you behave a certain way, right? And then you can recognize that same thing in multiple different places and multiple different people, right? You don't think it's weird that like you go to a concert or like you'll get into a type of music, like some people will get into a type of music and then you go to the concert and everybody there is dressed the same. And there was no instruction that says put on the black shoes, put on the fishnets, do this, do. There was no instruction. Everybody just did it. They were animated by the same spirit, right? It's not what Disney would have you believe. It's real life. It's real. You understand? You go to or like trying to think of it. Concerts are like the I think everybody experiences spirit if they're at a concert is spirit work, right? So I use that example a lot. But even like dance, um, even like singing, music, of course, music. That's all spirit. It's all vibration, that kind of thing, right? The all of these different things that fill somebody with something, or a speaker, like a crowd now, somebody will come and start speaking, and everybody's emotion just sinks. Everybody's psychology sinks. What they're feeling, what they're going. If there's a good speaker, it all sinks. It spreads, right? That's all spirit, right? But when you start writing it down, you're stuck with whoever wrote its understanding of this thing, right? And then from there, who knows if I agree with it or not. But the people that person who wrote it down heard it from someone who heard it from someone who heard it from someone, and they're describing real life. They're talking about real ass life, right? That kind of thing. So, like, for example, now, like, okay, like you get drunk, you start behaving a certain way. You understand? Alcohol, spirits, right? That's what it is. That's all it is, right? You're intoxicated. If as far as like a personal experience with spirits, you're intoxicated by something. But at the same time, you have your own spirit. And you can walk into the room and people can feel your spirit. And you can feel the spirit of other people. You understand? You can walk into somebody you know's car and feel them in there without them being there. You can uh you can feel when somebody's looking at you. You can feel when somebody's coming into a room with bad intention. Dogs know who a good person and a bad person is. You can feel something about a person, right? This is how I know if my neighbors are racist. You can feel something about a person and then you're trying to hide it, but your dog is losing its mind, right? Because your dog is feeling something that's coming from you, right? In Igbo cosmology, the spirit of the universal consciousness, right? The spirit that has one foot in person in physical and one foot in spirit is known as Agun. Agun manifests as the Dibia. Some would call shaman, the healer, medicine man, woman, witch, wizard, the Dibia, right? That same spirit also manifests as the dog, right? Also manifests as the dog. And so when you, the master of the dog, is feeling something, that dog will start behaving based on how you feel. Babies do this too, right? My, when you deliver a child, hormonally, you're still trying to like get it together. It's all over the place. It's something that you don't get taught enough, by the way. And when my wife was so afraid of doing something wrong the first like 3 days my child was born, my son was born, that she was constantly in a panic. And my son didn't want to be carried by her, which was making her panic more. And she'd always want to go with the grandmother because, like in our culture, when you have a child, the grandmother comes and lives with you. Except we had to go live with her because she didn't want to climb our stairs. But the grandmother comes and lives with you. And so my son always wanted to be with the grandmother. And then we figured out it was because of what she's giving off. So she worked on calming herself down, just going against the grain of what her body was doing. And then they totally switched, right? So yeah, as far as like, it's not like boo woo. That's not what we're talking about, right? We're not talking about that shit. We're talking about what we're actually experiencing in real life. At the same time, as far as Odinani goes, if you don't believe something, there's no obligation to believe it. This is experience based. There's an ilu that says the arashi that fails to do what an arashi is supposed to do, we use for firewood, right? An arashi is like a channeling device for a spirit. So most of the time made of wood, clay, that kind of thing. So if it doesn't work, if you receive an arashi that's supposed to channel a spirit that fills you with courage, and it doesn't do that, then you just have a pile of firewood. Use it for firewood, right? There's another ilu that says when a viper fails to do, or when a viper fails to show what makes it a viper, children use it to tie firewood, saying the same thing. So yeah, we're describing real life, and if you don't see it in real life, there's no obligation to believe it. But at the same time, I do think encountering these concepts from like Christianity, Islam, all those different religions first, um, you're getting like the 2004 BC, not 2004, like the 2000 BC telling of it retold by a person in Turkey, retold by a person in Rome. And if you don't agree with that chain of retold by a person in England, if you don't agree with that chain of people, then you're stuck having to throw the whole thing out. And I don't think that's how it should be. So I hope that made sense. One has to have a special ship to travel off the planet to a giant metallic. God damn, where are we going? Passcode. Are you still talking about Dragon Ball Z? Because you lost me. Where do you see the village and modern Odinani as a whole going in the next few years? Yeah, the village isn't gonna go anywhere. I do think that I'm rare as a human in being someone who was raised in diaspora, but still understands the importance of it. I come to find like when I like encounter like first generation Igbo people that are born in diaspora, they don't like it doesn't click. Um, right. So sometimes you'll hear me emphasizing things, right? Like you're from your dad's village. I say that over. I like and it's if you don't know that, there's no point in like it's a wrap. Just tap into this American thing extra hard, because it's a wrap. But yeah, the village isn't going to go anywhere. So when we say village in Igbo, like, okay, so like from like an American perspective, rural places, people who move out of rural places and they don't come back. But like, as far as the village goes in Igbo culture, what we're calling villages, they're really towns. They're not really like, they're not small, they're huge. And they're very populated. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that come and go, but they always in their head there's always a connection there, so it never really goes anywhere, right? um for some people it's not, there's no connection, but for most people there's still a connection there. So nothing's going to really change as far as that goes. I think that historically, Igbo land has always shed population. It's always had this like populate a lot of people, and a whole bunch leave for some reason or another, right? I theorize a big part of the Bantu migration was that. Obviously, we know about the transatlantic slave trade, um, the Biafra War, unfortunately, as well as the slave trade. There's a bunch of them, but it's and then now people just going out to get jobs and shit. So, but I think in the future, most of the villages are just going to become towns, and they're like, especially like in my area in like Anambra and like North Imo, they're all so densely packed that they'll all probably just feel like one big town, which they're it's already starting. Like if you drive in my place, if you're driving, you can cross like 5 towns and not see like a space between them where it's like, oh, the town has ended. Now I'm going to a new place. So it'll probably just look like one big ass town. And I people would probably leave less often. And the reason, anyways, that's a whole bunch of shit. But people will probably leave less often, but they will always do this thing of leaving. It's always gonna happen. We're like, it's just gonna always happen. Odema. Thanks for that question. The demon world, right? Physiology permit to enter the world. Toriyama knows some things. No, listen. Creative force. Again, Dragon Ball Z is very, 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 very esoteric. It's everything in that show is very deliberate. That's why I said I want to go back and watch the Buu saga, because a lot of that is not by accident. Think about the names, right? Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, Abracadabra, Deborah. What's Deborah's name? Oh, Deborah's Abra. I think it's Deborah. What's There's something about Deborah's name that's very like it's one of these words that you use for incantations and spells. Is it? It's like it. I can't think right now, but like backwards, it's like it's an incantation. Um, the seven Dragon Balls, the four Goku having the 4-star ball. Of course, Kung Fu is the Odinani of China, right? It's in there. Um, it's deeply esoteric. Look at Tien. Uh, Again, the chakras, the Dragon Balls, the dragon comes, you make a wish. I don't know all that stuff. So I didn't. Yeah. Time to bow down to Rush. Like Madaraja. No problem. Chill out, Dimitri. We're hanging out, man. Chill out. What are your thoughts on generational transformation of practices and understanding? Can you only engage in Odinani as it has been understood? Okay, so that's a very good comment because people mention this a lot. And I think it is based on personal opinion. My personal opinion, I think we should encounter it as we met it. I think we should encounter it as we met it. Right now, we are in Ugazi. We are in Ugazi. We are in the age of confusion. And every time, you'll notice, every time we try to modernize something, it is significantly more useless and stupid than it originally was. Okay? It's significantly more, yeah, and this isn't just Igbo people, this is worldwide. Anytime we try to modernize an ancient concept, it is significantly more useless and stupid than it originally was, right? So for example, now, like I can look at a masquerade, right? From this masquerade, I can deduce cosmology, I can deduce history, I can deduce social order. There's a whole lot of things that's coded on the masquerade. There's a lot of things coded. But we have modern masquerades, right? The modern masquerade is the guy that stands outside the store and tells you to go in there. We're having a sale 50% off. And they're dancing, go get the 50% off. It's all these skip makers wearing skirts and wigs. And that's the modern version. So people always like, oh, if you modernize mind, like the modern mind is different from the ancient mind. And if you're looking at something ancient to pull something that you can use in the modern world, absolutely. But don't go change the ancient thing to your image because there are layers of thinking in that ancient world that you don't have anymore, right? Think about this. The modern person does not grow their own food, does not hunt their own food, does not like even you don't even cut up your own chicken, right? You don't build your own house. You don't you have no reason to look into the stars and use the stars to deduce what time of the day it is and so on and so forth. You have outsourced your basic survival to these state apparatuses that we have, right? You've outsourced it. So what can you actually create in comparison to a person that did all that shit themselves, right? Like, I have to go to biology to learn what a gallbladder is. Meanwhile, my uncle is at home cutting a chicken open and sees it every single time he cuts it open. And he sees the lung is there and this is there and this and this is there. So he's going to understand things about biology that I'm not. And he's going to be able to integrate biology into culture, into how the family's living, all these different things. He's going to be able to see, okay, what there's a every time these chickens drop dead, there's a weird brown swelling. What is that, right? I have to Google this shit. I have to go to, I have to hope it's on the curriculum of my school zone so that I can learn it, right? So no, I don't think we should be changing these things. Like people always like, even like with Igbo language, right? If I like when if I tell people my number one resource for learning Odinani is just looking at the word in Igbo and breaking down the layers of it. And then you get these modernized people. It's like, okay, how do you say science in Igbo? Science. Right? All that poetry, all that ancient poetry, the poetry of the ancient mind is gone. It's gone, right? You read something, let's use like the West. You read something Shakespeare wrote, you read something, whoever the hell the modern Shakespeare is, it's just, there's just a difference. You know what I mean? There's a difference. Like this shit's spiritual to him. It's not a commercial enterprise. It's not. So no, I don't think the modern person should be changing ancient things. You can look at the ancient thing, pick up something that you can go use in the modern world. You can add on that way, right? But there's nothing, I've not seen one, I have nothing to teach Odinani. I don't have a thing to teach Odinani, but it has a lot to teach me, right? And I'd be insane to think 100,000 years of collective human wisdom needs to be changed because I got some fucking idea I saw on TV, right? Or okay, but what if we did it this way? And then the change is always some like it's always very vapid and like transactional. So no, I don't. You know, I don't. We don't live in communities like that. We don't. We're not responsible for our own survival. We have no, unless we're doing it recreational, we don't really have a connection to nature. So what do we have to tell this legacy of people about what they passed on to us? You understand, right? So we're children in the game, you know, we're children. And so guys, the age of confusion. So I don't think there's room for I don't think there's a place for this alleged generational transformation. You like, turn on TikTok. You know what our generation's up to. You know what it is. You know, we want to hear about rappers. Right? Yeah, okay, Burna Boy kidnapped a Speed Darlington, had him in the basement. Now he's back. He's got a diss track. He said that Burna Boy was at the Diddy party. That's what we want to hear, and it's okay. That's just what this era is. That's what it is. But like, you know, after getting your brain and your soul cooked by these things, you can't come and start like, hey, oh, let's make the modern pyramid. Okay, we have modern pyramids. We have the modern pyramid in Las Vegas, right? And then we have the ancient pyramid. You want the guy that made the modern pyramid to like now start determining going back and changing the ancient pyramid, like knock it down, make a new one, right? It'll be a casino, a little hotel in it. You walk around as prostitutes walk around and shit. No, it's not. It's just my take. I don't. I think you can look at you can go to an elder and learn from an elder, but it's not really there's it's not your place to go to an elder to start telling them how to behave and how to no do this instead. And you don't know what's you're a kid. You don't know what's going on. Hold on. Why are Igbo people so proud and known to be a tribe that bows to no one? He said, "Hey, I boo. We are leopard people, man. We have leopard in us." I heard the Igbo are the first and we're the oldest Africans. What happened? Migration, other languages, yeah, I guess. Did we what happened that began our did we break a law? Well, migration's not a bad thing. It's not like you can only migrate when something then we break a law, now you have to migrate. Yeah, but no, Igbo culture is very, very, very old. Igbo people, life in Igbo land has been going on for a long time. But no, it doesn't mean migration is not a product of breaking a law. I just think that, like I said before, I think that for some reason the nature of our land is that there'll always be this shedding of population. After a while, people build up and they shed, and people build up and it's never going to end. It's just always this is what it's going to be. How far does your age set wish to change tradition? Oh, okay, right. And that was the second thing I wanted to hear. Thank you. My chi and intuition seem very similar. How are they different? Your chi, your intuition and your chi are connected. It's your intuition is a conversation you're having with your chi, or the conversation your chi is having with you, right? So if you become more deliberate in your practice and more experienced and grow in it, you will be able to channel intuition more deliberately, right? More deliberately. Sometimes you have like intuition hits you. Uche is intuition, right? Sometimes intuition hits you and it's a blessing when it does. But as you begin to open those lines of communication and you begin to re-ground yourself in who you are and your truth and your path, it becomes you learn that it's one of your spiritual hands. It's something you can just do, right? So um I have become significantly more intuitive in the past 5 years, whereas before it just wasn't a thing, or I didn't have it. But significantly more intuitive now. So you'll grow in it as you build a relationship with your chi. And as Nebo say, a person who looks for their chi finds themselves. A person who looks for themselves finds their chi. So take that for what it is. Ubulumuda, I heard one of the things Chuku told us was to never travel. It seems no, Chuku never, I've never heard of Chuku saying don't travel. There's an Ilu that says a well traveled child is wiser than a gray haired old man who stays still. A well traveled child is wiser than a gray haired old man who stays still, or a gray haired elder who stays still. Okay. So travel is a part of growth. Well, a lot of the terminology in Odinani is travel oriented. Ije, journey, your path. All these, there's very, it's just, it's our nature. We move around. It's just what it is. We move around, but we never lose connection to the roots. There are some people, like in some families that have been in Kano for like 5, 6 generations, but they still see their home as their village, right? And so they're gonna come back for December and do all that stuff. There've been it's just what it is. It never goes away unless you like opt for it to go away. Is less about wishing to make drastic change, just understand how generations can relate to each other, facilitate honorable growth, or is it possible? It's possible to take what has been handed to you as far as ancient wisdom and apply it to your modern life, right? Apply it to your life. Gather your own wisdom in your time of living and pass it on to the next generation. That's really what it's been. That's really what it's always been. So it's not like a doctrine thing where it's like you have to do it this way. Once you kind of understand what I'm talking about, you'll understand that everybody, every generation, every group, every town is going to do it different, right? I always say it is the same algorithm, it's the same game being played with different pieces, being done based on person, geography, and so forth, right? So, but if you understand what I'm saying, and if you understand Udinani, you'll understand that everybody's going to do it different. Like one of the things now that, I mean, this is kind of random, but one of the things that people, oh no, that's not new. I take it back because I was going to say like we use a lot of gunpowder. The EPS keep using a lot of gunpowder, but that's not new because we have anyways, yeah, the little cannons. I don't care what you call them. So I don't know. Thoughts on Dr. Umar? I have a lot of appreciation for Dr. Umar. Um, I have appreciation for him in the sense that he obviously has a passion for his people, and a vision for his people, and I have an appreciation for his humor. That guy is hilarious. He's an all around cool guy. But I'm also hesitating to endorse any of these celebrities because who knows? I feel like it's just who knows, man? Who knows? So I'm not gonna like. I'll tiptoe into it. But yeah, no, he's cool. I like him. I don't know why. I don't know why people try to pretend he's like some kind of villain. I don't see what he's doing or saying that's like out of bounds or ridiculous. But yeah, no, I like Dr. Umar. I appreciate him, and uh, like some of the stuff he talks about, I don't get it. Or like let me put it this way: I get it, but like, okay, like for example, like the school he's building, I think he should really, really, really just double down and make sure that gets done because if that doesn't happen, man, it's not good for the name. But that's really it. That's the only thing I can think of that I'd even like say what's going on over there. A good friend of mine donated to the school and she was upset that she hasn't seen it yet. But I think if we'll see. He's a celebrity. Who knows, man? He's a celebrity. But yeah, what I see of him is cool. I don't have an issue. I think it's possible to relate across generations, grandkid, grandparents going around. Volunteering in a nursing home will facilitate growth. Is that maybe that is closer to what you were asking? Like connecting the generations. Come on. I travel. Ubulu Mudo says he traveled to the beginning of time and found out. What are your thoughts on reptiles communicating with animals, such as lizards? My thoughts on reptiles communicating with animals, or just communicating with animals in general. Abura Kadabra. Yeah, okay, good, you got it. Okay, so Ima, I'm gonna say Ima or Ima Z. If you can elaborate on the reptile question, because it looks interesting. But yeah, you can communicate with animals. Just know they don't speak the human language. You can absolutely communicate with animals. Scientists have just proven that dogs can hear everything we're saying and they understand, they comprehend everything we're saying. So I didn't know. Somebody's inappropriate comment got covered, so I'm gonna leave it. I think most anime is esoteric. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, or a lot of it. But I tapped out at Dragon Ball Z, so I don't know too much about the other anime. I tapped out. I tapped out at Toonami. Let me put it that way. The rest of it, I just couldn't vibe with it. Deborah, Altamwa. Yeah, good. Thank you. Wow, I didn't know that about Deborah. I thought it was meaning doubler or devil in Japanese. You can see the play on words too. It's devil, so he's got the devil look, but then at the same time, Deborah. Magic angle is even on a deeper level. No, that Buu saga is no joke. That Buu saga is absolutely no joke. The hyperbolic time chamber is no joke. Um, Let me do this. I'm going to look this up before I say it. So I saw something. It was a Freemason that posted this, and they're probably going to shut my. They're going to shut this channel down after I say this. By the way, they're going to. They're gonna shut this channel down when I say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, right? So this might be the last thing you hear from the Medicine Shell on YouTube. I might come back with like a mustache or something, right? Like a thicker mustache, I guess. But so this goes to the back to the hyperbolic time, Dragon Ball Z thing, right? The painting of again, I heard this from a Freemason, right? So they're gonna shut this shit down when I'm done saying it. The painting of the Last Supper, that painting of the Last Supper is not a supper. It is an astral projection to a place. And when it ended up or like channeling the presence of the physical actual presence of Jesus, and that is why he's all chilling like this with his wife, wink wink, and she's all like that, and then the rest of them are like, whoa, go look at their expression. They're like, oh, this is when he told him blah blah, but look at how he is. This is not how you don't do this to tell people things, right? It's triangular. But what I noticed in the background kind of looked like the hyperbolic time chamber, the background of it. When you really start looking at it from that lens, the background looks like the hyperbolic. It reminded me of it, anyways. And I'm trying to, my computer is down. I'm trying to pull up a picture and see if I have the right image in my head. But for some reason, it looks. That's where my mind went to was that concept of the room of spirit and time, as they call it. But yeah, according to Mason, you can make Jesus show up. So Daima has Goku going to Deborah's dimension. Yeah, that's dope. No, so I've heard, I think there are 3 episodes in. Everything I've heard so far is very good. Very, very good, very inspired, fire. So I'll probably give it a try, but odds are I don't like watching TV that much, so I'll do more. It takes a lot to get me to watch some TV. Abracadabra, this may be odd, but how does one navigate when others see/claim your intuition? How this is wise, tapped in, but don't feel like you are all the time or aren't confident in that realm? If confidence doesn't come to a person naturally, I would advise the person not make confidence a prerequisite for doing and being. Okay? If confidence does not come naturally, I would not make confidence a prerequisite for doing and being, right? You will succeed at some things, you will fail at some things. If you are confident in doing it, it helps, but it is not the beginning and end of that thing. So if it doesn't come naturally, I would just not prioritize confidence being part of doing and being. But if a person, what's funny is, as far as Odinani goes, right? The world, and Americans don't like hearing shit like this, the world is going to tell you your gifts before you realize that, right? The world is going to tell you what your gifts are before, because the thing that your chi came into the world to give the world and bring to the world, everybody else's spirit is going to sense it and come to you for it, right? It's gonna come to you. The thing I'm doing right now, what I'm doing with you guys right now, I've been doing this since I was like 5. I just didn't have a word. It was like a habit, right? And people, oh hey, tell me about that. Hey, tell me about this thing. Okay, yeah, check this out. Blah, blah, blah. People are gonna come to you for it. The world's gonna respond to you based off of what it is, right? Regardless of how you feel. Maybe you don't like how the world treats you and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just that's what it is, right? And when they come, give it to them, right? If the world sees your words as wise and they come to you for wisdom and your intuition is guiding people, give it to them. But if confidence, for one reason or another, is not natural, don't make it a prerequisite for you being. Perhaps you need to be and do and share and give and so forth, and then the confidence will follow, right? But I wouldn't make it a prerequisite. I wouldn't get too caught up on it. Just do it, right? Just do it. Whether or not you're confident, you're still going to chew your food. You don't need to be confident to chew food, right? So see your gifts as something as natural as sleeping, chewing food, all the other things you do, regardless of where your confidence is at. Um, and then from there, I couldn't imagine, right? I've been blessed to have not just this community as far as all of us who are learning Odinani and sharing and teaching and that kind of thing. But like, we're pretty close. Like we're all pretty, like I know you guys pretty well. I haven't met one person that has a reason to not be confident in who they are, right? As far as our community goes, here on YouTube and so forth. And I taught like again, we talk all the time. Sometimes we talk too goddamn much, right? But I have not met one person that has a tangible reason to not be confident in their step and who they are, right? And so forth. And just know that whatever it is that your chi gave you, you are unbelievably wealthy in it. You're unbelievably abundant in it. It is infinite. It is you. And if for one reason or not you don't believe what I'm saying, just continue being you, continue giving it, continue doing it, continue offering it, and so forth. Don't make confidence a prerequisite for doing anything, right? Just do it. Maybe the confidence is supposed to come after. Maybe the fact that you're doing it from a place of not having confidence, is even what's making it good as what it is, right? That kind of thing. Yeah, just don't make it a prerequisite. I don't know. Somebody said press the reset button. Oh, Udochi in there. Ubulu, I appreciate you for saying I'm cool at least. Talking about modern practices, reinventing them. Talk about modern practices reinvented from ancient practices. Confused. Okay, maybe I missed the context on that. Appreciate your answer. I'm evolving. Okay, so the evolution I'm talking about isn't changing the ancient knowledge, but our expression of the knowledge based on our time. I don't think everyone in our generation is that vapid. Okay, so let me finish reading actually. And this is how you are here, and everyone is communicating and doing the work, exploring the depths. Appreciate your take. Oh yeah, baby girl of Ohaf. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so yeah. So let me be more level headed. Yes, not everybody is vapid. You're correct, right? But I think the pressure to be vapid and individualistic is very high, right? It's unbelievably high. And if you're not if you're not presenting the modern one that is extractive and transactional and all that stuff, somebody else will, and that person's going to win because that's just the name of the game in our era now, right? That's the name of the game in our era. There's a lot of things in Odinani where somebody will come to a person and be like, oh, like a DB. DB has encountered this a lot. I want this to happen. And DB will be like, that's not real. You can't do that. And then another person will go, oh, no, it is real. Come over here. I'll do it. Guess what happened? They'll go to that person. You understand? So yeah, the take from it take from it and use it to do what you need to do in the modern world, right? Take from it but a lot of times, like for example, the expression, for example, right? The reason I'm taking my time with this particular question is because I've learned, let me put it this way. From what I've learned, the things I disagreed with the least, the things that looked and felt and sounded least appealing to me, the things that were opposite of my worldview in Odinani are the things once I understood what it was, that I grew from in understanding. That gave me the most growth and it gave me the most understanding, gave me the most wisdom, gave me the most life, right? The things that I looked at, I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that, or that doesn't, it looks like some bullshit, you know. Once I looked at it, I was like, oh. And it's a very simple thing. All of the things in the world that appeal to me, all the things in the world that make sense to me, all the things in the world that I like, I've already surrounded myself with, right? I get on a computer every day and I go look at things I like, right? I talk to the people I like to talk to about the subjects I like talking about. I go to school, I take the classes I want to take, and so on and so forth. I read the books that are interesting. So everything that is you are going to understand it very well. It is those things that you don't understand, those things that are not that's just not your style or your vibe or your perspective, that you gain the most from. I'll use the example of sacrifice because this happens a lot, right? Oh, we need to modernize. We don't need to do sacrifice anymore. Da, da, da. I used to think that sacrifice thing made no damn sense. I was like, well, that is nah, I don't know about that, right? I can't be doing all that. And then it hit me one day, and I understood it, right? And then I was like, oh, if I had said, let me start modernizing things from that point, right? From the original point, if let me start modernizing things from that original point, I would have cut out something that is unbelievably powerful. Unbelievably powerful. When I say unbelievable, I mean every syllable of that word, right? Because at what point?
Hi, Daddy.
Hey, buddy, how's going on?
Pizza's almost finished up.
It's okay. I'll be there. I don't mind. So yeah, I would have cut that out. I would have cut out a whole lot of things that didn't make sense to me or that I didn't agree with. Right at a point, divination, the concept of divination, it made no sense to me. I was like, okay, whatever. But right now, that is like 7 out of 10 of my thoughts are based on divination. I'm so fascinated. I'm locked in. And I'm learning and I'm getting so much from it because by nature I didn't look in that direction, right? I was forced to look somewhere else. You understand? So yeah, the that's what I mean. So when people want to like modernize, like okay, I want to modernize something. It's like, do you under like what is it that you're because it's usually a vain thing. It's usually like to make it look cuter or something, right? That kind of thing. Like, for example, I used to be like, man, like some people's altars look horrible. Like it's like it just decades of sacrifice on it. It just looks like a big mound of blah, right? And then I started learning about mycelium networks, and I started learning about the mineral content of blood. And I started learning about the fact that you have to go to the altar with your bare feet. And I started learning about magnesium. And I started learning about the role magnesium plays in dreaming. And I started learning about the fact that it's your feet that best absorb magnesium from soil. And soil is the number one source for magnesium, like unless it's like a magnesium pill or something, I don't know, but natural source for magnesium. And I started learning that trees are already connected and they're communicating with each other. And that if there's a central point where minerals are regularly dumped, the mycelium network and the root network will begin tapping into that area. And then I said, oh, and now I want a dirty ass shrine, right? I want it to be as organic and piled up as possible, right? In our traditional medicine class, we talk about offal and how you don't clean your offal. You don't clean your offal. And so we were talking about that, and I said that, after a while, you'll start taking pride in how messy your offal is, right? You'll start taking pride in it, and that kind of thing, right? And so again, when you want to the things that already make sense and they fit like modern aesthetics and things like that. As far as Odinani go, yeah, there's easy, but like this is not a belief thing. We're not talking about belief. This is real spiritual science, right? And a lot of it doesn't look cute. A mechanic shop doesn't look cute. A surgeon's table doesn't look cute. Where the real things in the world are happening, they look the way they do for a reason. And if you don't understand what's going on there, sometimes you're like, I don't know if this fits the modern sensibility of not having blood smattered everywhere, right? That kind of thing. You understand, right? And this is in my mind, sacrifice was crazy because I don't kill my own chickens. You understand? I don't kill my own. I think something bad's happening to the chicken. Then I go to KFC and eat the legs of seven chickens. I eat the legs of seven chickens. And while I'm eating the legs of seven chickens, I'm sitting there like, man, they need to quit killing those chickens at home that they eat. They're gonna eat anyway. Yeah, they eat anyway, and that kind of thing. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So I take my time with that because um I don't there's just a lot, like, again, this is hundreds and thousands of years of knowledge. It has more to teach you than you have to teach it. I would approach it as it is. I would take it in as it is, right? And then from there, go do what you need to do in the world with it. The thing is about Odinani, right, is it's not like Christianity has this thing where like you always have to just assert that you're um like a child of God and shit, right? And Odinite doesn't work that way, right? It really is based on need, right? If you need to do something, that's when you activate. Okay, I'm going on a trip, um, opening a business, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? So it's not like you got to go to the shrine or whatever and be sacrificing every goddamn day. You know what I mean? It's based on need, right? It's based on need. So if you have a need, go tap in. Go tap in. Okay, more. All right. Don't agree. Ubulu. No, Ubulu's a troll. You don't have to argue. Ubulu's a troll, but he's a well-spirited troll, and we appreciate his presence. Some expression. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Would you suggest? Okay. Would you suggest someone to spend their time away from the city in nature, like camping? Yes, 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 yes. To observe spirit speaks to us in nature, rather than be in the animal trees. Well, make sure you're safe wherever you go, right? I don't want to hear that a guy on YouTube told somebody to go sleep with some bears and shit, right? But But yeah, make sure you're safe wherever you go. But the more raw your exposure to nature, the better. The more raw your exposure to nature, the better. So if camping is your thing, do the camping. If you're gonna sleep inside of a dugout tree, that's and do your thing, that kind of thing. Just as long as you get isolation, so long as you, because one of the things that happens as far as nature goes is if you're alone in nature and you're disconnected from all this stuff, your faculties start coming alive. They start waking up, right? Then when your faculties start waking up, like sometimes in the summer, I'll sleep outside. I used to sleep outside on my balcony, but now we got the thing in the backyard that I use. I'll sleep outside if the weather is good and like best sleep on planet Earth, right? Best sleep, best sleep ever, right? And I'm saying that to say that it applies the same for meditation. It applies the same for thoughts. All your faculties kind of come back. So the more raw your exposure, now that's not very raw. I can just go inside, right? But the more raw your exposure to nature, the better. Most of the people that do like Iragu in the modern day, okay, here's an example of modernization. They'll have like a room that they do it. You can do your isolation in a room, right? You do your isolation in a room and so forth, right? But I would argue it's better in nature. I don't know. Would you suggest someone spend time away from? Okay, you already read that. I'm in Nigeria. Ubulu, shut up. I'm sorry your eyes don't work well, sir. Yeah, you're very crazy. Are you a fast reader? How fast can you read? How often do you read? Are you asking me, Udochi? Am I a fast reader? My wife taught me how to be a very fast reader. So I'm a fast reader now, but throughout life, no, I was like moderately, whatchamacallit, moderately fast. But she's like hyperlexic. She reads super fast. And so she taught me how to read very fast. And so now I read fast as hell if I'm reading like a book. Right? Um, how fast can you read? I've never measured it. I don't know, I don't know what to compare it to. How often do you read? Usually read like probably about a book every 3 months, 2 months ish, right? If I have something that's interesting, like a book that's interesting, I'll just keep it by my bedside and I'll read like it'll be like the first thing I do, like the first like activity I do in the morning is read as much as I can of it, and then I'll get up and go do it. And that's like for me, it's a great way to start your day and so forth. But I don't think I've read other than this. Where's that one? The Mami Wata book. I haven't read that many books this year. Um, I'm in the DMV. I'm edging to this right now. Hey, be careful. How about you stick to your video on ritual is really awesome. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Ademma. Seen a lot of elders I can. Ademma. No, your response is closer to what I was asking. Okay, cool. Ademma. Cool, 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 cool. Hey, Emmy. Message retracted. All right, no problem. It's simply, Jesus. Man, somebody went ham. Udochi got them though. Uh, let me just see one of the messages. I'm curious. Uh, thoughts on AI as an Irish? Yes, AI is an Irish. AI is an Irish. Irish is AI. Let me put it that way. Irish is the original AI. Irish is the original AI. But AI is another Irish. ChatGPT is an Irish. All those things are Irish. Perfect. Well said. Uh, okay, all right. I'll come see you guys in a minute. Guys, I might be wrapping it up. Thank you for telling the facts. Deborah, I think maybe you're talking to me, so thank you. I appreciate you. Wow, that's interesting. I'll do my blessings, lights on your ears. Remember the new world. Ubulu, you told us you were a Christian though. Now it's neck and neck. They're both bad. Ubulu, 2 months ago you were a Christian. It's Christian on Power Trip. Yeah, entertaining though. The labeling of Nigeria does not cohesive. All right, where are we at? Have you ever thought about creating a Discord or something for community interaction? Got some wild characters in this community. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I want to facilitate. People were talking about I should do like a dating type of thing or whatever, and uh but uh, you guys don't know what my DMs look like. Let me just tell you guys the truth. You guys don't know what my DMs look like. So 9 out of 10 people, solid, super solid, super solid. We always get a character or two, and I think you guys would all run away if I did something like that. I had a Discord for a minute that we were using for the. We have a Patreon, yeah. We were using it for the group study on Patreon, but now we're just on Patreon. We have like we get together and we all just talk like on Zoom. We have like a Zoom meeting. So if you want to call that a Discord, cool. We have like a Zoom our group study. So we pick a topic and everybody shares their thoughts, and it's my favorite part of the month. Odemma. Derek, talking cool doesn't make you cool. Be cobra. No problem, somebody. Uh, what are your thoughts on hoodoo? Can you speak about specific connections to it and not? Yeah. So hoodoo's interesting. So I've had hoodoos reach out to me. Hess, and then like another Hess and I don't say I shouldn't start saying names because now I don't remember Hess Love and another person reached out to me like, "Hey, watch your videos and this shit sounds like voodoo." And they will Namdi.
Can't find my toothpaste anywhere.
Oh, okay. Ask your mom now. Okay.
Didn't she won't me find it?
Yeah. Okay, no problem. Bachuzo.
Okay.
Bache uzo. I don't know. So I've had the hoodoos reach out to me and say, "Hey, the stuff you're talking about is like hoodoo." So I've looked into hoodoo, and I see what they're saying. It's just the approach to African spirituality is in Odinani is very similar to what you see in hoodoo. It's very, very, very similar, right? There's an emphasis on nature. There's an emphasis on plants. There's an emphasis on the medicinal end, the scientific application of these things, and so forth. What else? So I'm seeing a lot of connections as far as like just what is emphasized. That's the best way to put it. What is emphasized? Nature, medicine, those types of things, plants, um, and so forth. I do need to learn a lot more about hoodoo. I know that hoodoo has a regional nature. There's things you're gonna pick up in the Chesapeake that maybe isn't as emphasized over here and so forth. But yeah, the more I look, the more similar it looks. A lot of Congolese, like Congo region kind of nature as a that's there too. But I have to learn more. I have to learn more, and from there it'll make more sense. The thing that really stuck out when I said, "Oh, now to look at this," is the fact that they call in Hoodoo they call a dibia a two-headed doctor, which in Igbo you also call a dibia a two-headed doctor, right? Agon is two-headed, right? So a dibia is two-headed, one head in spirit, one head in the world, the physical world, in physical. So yeah, no, there's a lot to be. I'm like I said, I'm still looking into it. I hope to one day do a video about hoodoo because that's dope. Leave voodoo, please. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, offering nothing that is stimulating or challenging. Yes, the modern way of thinking, we go out of our way to make sure things aren't challenging. We go out of our way to make sure things aren't challenging. And if it is stimulating, it is only the quadrant of stimulations that we've considered good that we can experience, right? So, with those limitations, I think it's very hard to, like, you know what I mean? To do what I'm talking about. Yeah, this shit is fine. Oh, you know you're still here. I thought you said bye 5 minutes ago. Pico, take your time, sir. Can you tell us a story about your brother's broken leg and different types of DB in different fields? Emeka, Bobby, Nwachuku, absolutely. So I have two brothers. The brother directly younger than me, he was a very popular YouTuber. He when he was born, he was in a high seat at I want to say at a daycare. My parents were immigrants. They did not know, like, they knew as much as they could know, but they didn't know everything. And so, had they known, they should have sued this daycare. But they didn't know that was an option. And so, my brother fell from a high seat and broke his leg. They took him to a hospital. This was in Kearney, Nebraska, 1991, probably 1991 in Kearney, Nebraska. He broke his leg. They took him to a hospital. The doctors put a cast on. They said that they, the first thing they did was they said that he's probably never going to walk due to the extent of damage, and so forth. And they put a cast on his leg. And when we got home, I didn't tell this part in the video. When we got home, my brother's leg started turning purple. And my mom saw that the cast was too tight and she had suspected the whole time. So she said, and this is a true story, that she used her teeth, and my dad tells the story too, her hands and teeth, and tore the cast off his leg, right? Go back to the hospital to complain and and this and this and that. And they say, okay, again, there's probably just what it's gonna be, and so forth. So pretty soon after that, we went to Nigeria. We moved to Nigeria. My mom's Christian, right? Her first option would never be to go to traditional medicine. And so she would go to the hospitals there. They would try different things, cast, boots. You take it off, it was back to where it was. He wasn't going to walk. Um, she would go to church. They try to pray the breakaway, and it didn't work. Of course. I had this uncle named Chim. And funny enough, I told the story of Chim. So you couldn't do Chim around his house because he it pisses him off because his name is Chim. I don't know what the story was, but he beat up some kid sometime. I don't know. He was scary, right? He was a scary old uncle, like my dad's uncle, right? Granduncle, right? And he used to talk like this, very deep voice, very slow. And so he saw my mom just kind of scrambling to fix my brother's leg. And he was like, when you're done wasting your time, bring that child to me. And so my mom finally, like, gritted her, teeth as a Christian, and took the child to ditch him. And so what they did with my brother was they buried my brother's leg in the earth. They used afa, right? Now I always told the story that my grand uncle did this, but what my mom watched the video and corrected me and said that my grand uncle was the one doing the physical work, but it was his wife that actually did all of this. His wife used to be she would read poems and dreams. Andy? Be calm. She would read poems and dreams. And she would read poems and dreams, and she was blind. And so she was blind and she couldn't walk. She didn't walk anywhere. Right. And so he was doing all this stuff. He'd go to her, get instructions, come back and do more. They used that find. They found out that in my brother's past life, one of my aunts could have prevented his death. He died young. He was like a very like he had a lot of promise, very handsome. I've seen his picture. Very handsome guy, had a lot of promise, sharp, that kind of thing. And he passed away, and he was angry at that aunt because she could have prevented his death. And so nobody knew this. Nobody knew this aspect of him dying. And so we went to her, or they went to her. I was like a little kid. They went to her, and they're like, "Hey, this is what we got from my father." She's like, "It's true," and she started kind of like telling the story. And so she went to the thing she cooked for my brother. She went to him while his leg was buried and apologized and fed him and that kind of thing. And he stayed there for multiple days. I don't know how many days it was because I was a little kid. It felt like what could have been a week, right? It felt like what could have been a week, but I don't know. Somebody had to sleep outside with him. He had to sleep outside, but his leg was buried in the soil outside, in on the earth outside, right? And so after a while, we would go entertain him. Or I mean, you're like a little kid, you're selfish and shit. So like you're really just like like, damn, they really got him in. Then you'll go about your business and go play. So after a while, they got his leg out, right? They like I said, they used traditional method, burying him, that kind of thing. They got his leg out, and I think it was like the next day or maybe 2 days later, within like it was no more than 3 days. Somebody was walking by with what my brother loves to eat, or he did then. He still probably, yeah, he still does now. So he was just notorious for eating. My aunt was walking by with like a pot of rice, and he just got up and started chasing her. And we were like, it blew everybody's mind. We were shocked. So for most of his life, and my sister says it's now, but who knows? My brother, like when he walks, he drags one of his legs. It's not like extreme. It just looks like he's trying to be cool. But it's his natural walk. It just ended up being a cool ass walk. Um, but yeah, that's the story of how they used traditional medicine and healed my brother's leg. Namdi, mba, mba, mba. Don't do that. Don't choose one. Okay. Emeka, thank you for that. Yeah, Patreon is there. That's what it is. I take magnesium gummies. They also help with anxiety. Awesome. Dope, 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 dope. Good. You don't need to clean the all fall. In martial arts, you don't need to clean your belts. The black belt would be the highest belt, but it takes time. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I like that. I used to love trolling trolls. I couldn't help it. I don't know. What's good incense to burn? I find Igbo incense. I don't know. Cool. So I've already wrote it on my to-do list as something I need to go look for. I also owe you guys, there's a list of, I have the list here. It is a list of the foods you eat that screw up your natural appetite rhythm, the rhythm of your appetite, um, and so forth. So let me pull that up if, anyways, we'll see. Maybe I won't pull it up. Never mind. Okay, yeah. So I'm often stuck between following my chi and holding off my practice until I've learned more. Following your chi is the practice. Following your chi is the practice. Everything else is what we call culture, right? Everything else is what we call culture. So, um, yeah. I don't know how to explain that, but anyways, baby girl of Ahafia, you're asking really good questions. I appreciate this. I was at the beach a couple of months ago and walked in sand barefoot. I had the best sleep of the whole week. Lots of magnesium absorption. Yes, absolutely. I did that online stuff is weird. Why show your alter strings anyway? Yeah, it is weird. I've done it before though. I've done it before though. So I think I was trying to show what an altar looks like. Discord would be good offline chat though, like WhatsApp. I'll think about it. Then like if people leave the Patreon, I gotta like, do they stay on the Discord? It's like a lot to manage. Funny enough, Patreon has this new thing where it's like a Patreon chat, and I'm thinking about opening that. I'm thinking about opening that for the patrons, so we just chat in there, so it's the same thing as a Discord. Um, but I'm still thinking about it. I don't, I don't want you guys' chat, what you call it, to look like my DMs. I don't know. Okay, I don't mind. All right, so guys, I think it looks like the questions have ran out, so I'll give it a little bit, see if we get more.
Please come, please come and stay with me.
Okay, I'm coming. Okay.
There's nobody with me. No, they're not with me.
Okay, no, not bad. All right, so I'm being summoned. So I am gonna take off. It looks like we've ran out. Traditional medicine class starts tomorrow. I'm very excited. The teacher is excited. I'm also nervous as hell, but nervous, excited, it's the same thing. Just because it's something I care about happening, not because I think anything bad's gonna happen. But either way, guys, this has been a great conversation. I'm finishing up. Currently working on the next video. It should be coming out middle of next month or so. I'm trying to find a way to make my videos faster, and a lot of it is just overthinking, right? Like the thinking process and the making video, like the percentage of time is just not what you call it. So I might be experimenting with different types of videos. I'll still make the ones that everybody's like used to and likes and stuff, but I might like make shorter videos, maybe not shorts, but shorter videos where I just something real specific and just kind of hone in on that. But we'll see. These are ideas that are running through my mind right now. It's not anything concrete. Um, yeah, that being said, guys, uno gade, uno gato. Oh yeah, get on Patreon. Get on the Patreon. Those of you who I might open the page. Guys, if you're on Patreon, Village, my nose is running. If you're on the Patreon, let me know if a Patreon chat would be a good idea if you guys want to do that. I think it'd be fun. But like I said, I don't want too much wildness, and it can happen. So that being said, uno gade, uno geto, nko bula uno tiriaka o gade no wa. O gade o twa na eke no rie na afọ na nkwo. He said. Recommending okay, fine. I'll give you one more. Recommending a proper DBF for Vegas. So, Udochi, thank you. So, Udochi, you're awesome. Like seriously, I appreciate you. Yeah, we have a DB on Patreon. He's awesome. All right, guys, take care.